Banking as an industry attracts thousands, if not tens of thousands of people each year. Sooner or later, these banks start to bloat. Historically, they've kept on top of it by routinely cutting small portions of their headcount, but in the age of AI, that's starting to change. Find out why on the Coffee Run. This week's top story is that British bank HSBC is planning to cut 20,000 jobs, or 10% of its workforce. This is a multi-year plan rather than a single massive cull, and the bank is still assessing where exactly it wants to eliminate roles. Bloomberg reports those hit the hardest will likely be non-client-facing roles in global service centres. This generally means middle or back-office staff like risk or compliance who are based outside of the major financial hubs. It's technically not the first time HSBC has planned sweeping reforms. If anything, this is one of the more tame attempts. In 2015, then CEO Stuart Gulliver said the bank would cut 50,000 jobs in 2 years. In 2020, then CEO Noel Quinn said HSBC would cut 35,000 jobs. Those failed to be fully realised, however. HSBC had 210,000 people at the end of last year when those previously announced cuts should have taken it down to 181,000 or less. What makes HSBC so confident that it'll make the required cuts this time? You guessed it, artificial intelligence. CFO Pam Carr said that the technology has already automated various parts of the business that are volume-driven activities which require very basic binary decision-making. KYC, onboarding, small-ticket credit lending and transaction monitoring all use the technology. Carr did say, however, that AI will be used to upskill staff rather than cut them. She said at a conference prior to this news that HSBC would be doing more with the same number of people. Perhaps this notion was premature. It's all early days for HSBC's new layoffs, but rounds in recent years have looked keen. When the bank combined its corporate and commercial banking divisions in 2024, there was a lot of overlapping staff seen as excess to requirements, particularly, again, in the middle and back office. If Carr's comments about upskilling staff hold weight, people may be expected to work across multiple divisions, which would once again create overlap. HSBC may also cut staff through business sales or exits. It's here where the front office is particularly affected. Most famously, HSBC decided to close its entire M&A and equity capital markets divisions in the US and Europe at the start of last year. This still seems to be an ongoing process as those bankers complete deals they were attached to before the announcement, so perhaps those bankers are also included among the 20,000. At the end of 2025, HSBC had 500 material risk takers, each earning an average of $1.4 million. So if the goal is to cut costs, they still shouldn't consider themselves safe. HSBC's cuts aren't the first related to AI, and they won't be the last you see from a bank. Insiders have told eFinancial Careers that similar processes are in the works at both Goldman Sachs and Citi. The question is, who's next? Well, one Goldman insider told us their cuts could come as soon as April. If so, it will have been a long time in the making. Back in October, the bank unveiled the newest iteration of its AI-driven operating system for staff, dubbed 1GS 3.0. As part of that, the bank made a limited number of roles redundant. Any further AI-driven layoffs would be an extension of that. In January, CEO David Solomon said he was excited about this effort and that Goldman had already begun looking at 6 work streams where it will invest to re-engineer these processes from the ground up. Solomon didn't say what exactly these 6 work streams were, nor whether this re-engineering would lead to redundancies, but he promised news over the course of the next quarters. Rather than a huge sweeping announcement like HSBC, insiders allege Goldman's upcoming round will be focused on culling underperformers. This is a yearly occurrence at Goldman, but it's alleged the performance criteria is being tightened. And what of Citi? They've actually already made one round of layoffs this year. In January, it cut 1,000 staff, less than 1% of its total headcount. The bank credited efficiency gains from technology as a factor in these layoffs, but it's likely that this round targeted front office bankers, rather than the non-revenue generators similar to those in the crosshairs at HSBC. That's because of the timing. Citi's cuts were just before bonuses were paid, and that tends to be the time high-earning MDs get cut. Citi's recent round bears some similarities to the alleged upcoming round at Goldman Sachs. One insider suggested Citi had ranked him unusually low in his performance review, possibly because AI had raised the bar. Another big question is, how far does this all go? Not every job in finance has binary decision making, so should everyone else also be nervous? Kind of. The key reason these kinds of restructurings haven't been attempted in the past is because AI has simply been too unreliable for financial services. Goldman Sachs Chief Information Officer Marco Argenti, a figure very bullish on AI within the bank, said in 2024 that for a firm like Goldman Sachs, even a 0.1% deviation from accuracy is quote-unquote totally unacceptable. This is particularly true in front office roles where financial models need to be supremely robust. Even some of the most cutting-edge AI technologies for consumers are subpar for financial services. When Anthropic released Claude for Excel, people from banks and hedge funds said the technology was quite far from ready for institutional use cases at best, and a complete and utter mess at worst. That's maybe changing though. OpenAI was revealed last year to be hiring bankers on contracts of $150 an hour to experiment with ChatGPT's models and fine-tune them to make them fit for institutional purpose. There are also various startups developing institutional tools being developed by ex-bankers that are specifically focused on their old industry. Even some hedge fund jobs are significantly at risk. A report published by Anthropic earlier this month said that investment analysts were the 7th most exposed job to AI right now. It observed that over 57% of the work investment analysts did was through AI. That same report also stated that business and finance is one of, if not the most exposed industry to AI in theory. Curiously, it also noted that it was being used at just a fraction of that potential. HSBC seems confident that disparity will change. We'll have to wait and see who shares their confidence.